গাইস, সামারের সৌন্দর্যটা একটা অন্যরকম আর উইন্টারের সৌন্দর্যটা আরেক রকম। দেখেন গাছের কোনো পাতা নাই, আল্লাহ তাআলা কিভাবে দুনিয়াটা সৃষ্টি করতে। হ্যাঁ, ইয়ো, বাতাসে আমার চোখ দিয়ে পানি বের হচ্ছে আর অনেক ঠান্ডা, আমার হাত বরফ হয়ে গেছে। So,
the house and the barn that was used for the farm and that is now love center. The stone is the original stone foundation there.
সবাইকে জানাচ্ছি জাবালস ব্লগের পক্ষ থেকে আন্তরিক শুভেচ্ছা ও অভিনন্দন। আজকে আমরা ফ্রন্টিল ক্যাসেলে আসছি বেড়াতে। আর একজন ঠান্ডায় কি অবস্থা, ঠান্ডা পড়ে গেছে খুব। এখানে প্রচুর ঠান্ডা। আজকে রাতে হালকা হালকা একটু স্নো পড়ছে, আরও ঠান্ডা পড়বে। এটা মানে শীতের কেবল শুরু। রোদ দেখা যাচ্ছে, রোদের কোনো কাজ নাই, মিথ্যা রোদ। এটা হচ্ছে ফ্রন্ট হিলে ঢোকার মূল ফটক। আমরা আস্তে আস্তে যাবো ভেতর দিকে। দেখতেই পাচ্ছেন যে প্রচন্ড বাতাসের আওয়াজ হয়তো হচ্ছে, অনেক নয়েজ আসতেছে, এই জন্য আমি দুঃখিত। অনেক বাতাস, হাত আমার বরফ হয়ে যাচ্ছে। সো গাইস, সামারের সৌন্দর্যটা একটা অন্যরকম আর উইন্টারের সৌন্দর্যটা আরেক রকম। দেখেন গাছের কোনো পাতা নাই, আল্লাহ তাআলা কিভাবে দুনিয়াটা সৃষ্টি করতে। হ্যাঁ, ইয়ো, আমি গ্লোভস পরে আসি নাই, আমার হাত মানে শীতকালে লেগে গেছে, মানে ঠান্ডায়। অসম্ভব সুন্দর জায়গা, সেই পাখির সব পাতাগুলো পড়ে গেছে। এটা হচ্ছে ফন্থিলে ঢোকার মূল ফটক এবং সোজা যেটা দেখা যাচ্ছে এটা হচ্ছে আমাদের মূল ক্যাসেল। আসেন। সামনে আরো টুরিস্ট দেখতে পাচ্ছি, তারাও এখানে বেড়াতে আসছে। তো আর একটা কথা বলে রাখি, সেটা হচ্ছে এখানে আসার জন্য বাতাসে আমার চোখ দিয়ে পানি বের হচ্ছে আর অনেক ঠান্ডা, আমার হাত বরফ হয়ে গেছে। তো এখানে আসতে হলে যেটা বলে রাখি, এখানে আগে থেকেই টিকিট কাটতে হবে। তো $15 পার জন টিকিট কাটতে হবে। আমরা আসছি 4 জন, আমার সাথে আমার ভাইরা, সোহেল ভাই আছে, আমার ওয়াইফ আছে এবং তার ওয়াইফ আছে। তো এটাই হচ্ছে মূল ক্যাসেল, রাইট? ঠান্ডা তো, কথা বলতে একটু সমস্যা হচ্ছে। তো চলেন আমরা এখন ভিতরের অংশটুকু আপনাদেরকে দেখাবো।
আমরা সামনে অনেকগুলো লোক দেখতে পাচ্ছি, ওনারা আসলে এখানকার ট্যুরিস্ট। আর যিনি কথা বলছেন উনি হচ্ছে গাইড। উনি এই ক্যাসেলের বিস্তারিত সম্পর্কে বলছেন এবং গাইড করে করে ওনাদেরকে নিয়ে যাবেন। যারা 12টার সময় টিকিট কাটছে তারা এখন সামনে, আমরা 12:15-তে। সো এই ব্যাচটা গেলে আমাদের ব্যাচ চালু হবে। সো আমাদের এতক্ষণ অপেক্ষা করতে হবে।
Farm here on this land. There were 9 parcels of farmland, and he is a historian, of course, so he wants to preserve that original structure of the stone that was the foundation of the house and the barn that was used for the farm, and that is now love center. The stone is the original stone foundation there as well. Over on this side is the annex. That's where the members of staff could live. But he's a lifelong bachelor. He's living here alone with the housekeeper. That's basically her whole side of the house. And this is the part of the castle we're exploring today. That is the resident side, also where you can entertain guests and business people. It's getting cold, so let's go inside.
এখানে সব টুরিস্টরা আসছে, সবাই একসাথে। এখন আমাদের যে সময় ছিল, আমাদের সময় 12:15 থেকে ঢোকা এবং 1:15 পর্যন্ত আমরা এখানে ভিতরে থাকতে পারবো।
এখানে ফর্ম রাখতে হবে, দেন তোমাকে এখানে সবকিছু কইরা
আচ্ছা,
তারপরে এখানে।
এই যে ভাইয়া অপেক্ষা করতেছে, অনেক ঠান্ডা ভাইয়া। ও ওকে ওকে, এখানে টিকিট চেক করতে আসছি আমরা। থ্যাংক ইউ।
সো এখানে 1% গাইড করবে, এই জন্য আমাদেরকে এখানে
Wait করতে হবে?
আচ্ছা
আচ্ছা।
আমরা এখন এখানে বসবো, দেন যখন আমাদের গাইডার চলে আসবে দেন আমরা তার সাথে যাবো।
ওকে। এখন ওয়েটিং লবিতে আমাদের জন্য একটা গার্ড আসবে এবং সে আমাদেরকে গাইড করবে, এখানকার সম্পর্কে জানাবে। ওয়েটিং লবিটা একটু দেখায়। আমরা সবাই ওয়েট করতেছি।
জায়গায় যাইতে হলে আমাদের বিভিন্ন আমরা জিনিস নিয়ে যাই বাসার জন্য আর কি।
আচ্ছা
তো এখানে এগুলো তুমি বাই করতে পারবে।
আচ্ছা।
So purpose, this one purpose 495, this one 1795, and all this like thing.
ওকে।
And the mark.
ওকে। সামনে ক্রিসমাস, যার কারণে ক্রিসমাস ট্রিটা সাজাইছে। ওকে। এই ক্যাসেলটা আসলে ওনার ছিল, আজ থেকে 150 বছর আগের কাহিনী।
এটা
এই ক্যাসেলে আসতে হলে আপনাকে প্রথমে অনলাইনে টিকিট কাটতে হবে, 5 জন $15 করে, যেটা আগেই বলছি। আর আসার পরে এখানে অপেক্ষা করতে হবে, আমরা যেরকম ওয়েটিং লবিতে অপেক্ষা করছিলাম। অপেক্ষা করার পরে আপনার গাইড আসবে এবং গাইড আপনাকে ভিতরে সব কিছু এবং বলবে এবং নিয়ে যাবে। আগেই বলে রাখি, এটা প্রায় 150 বছর আগেকার একটা ক্যাসেল এবং এই ক্যাসেলটা তৈরি করছে তিনি পৃথিবীর বিভিন্ন স্থান থেকে টাইলস সংগ্রহ করে সেই টাইলস দিয়েই এই ক্যাসেলটা তৈরি করছে। সো আমরা ভিতরেও দেখব, আমরা অপেক্ষা করছি, আপনারাও অপেক্ষা করেন।
He was born here in Doylestown, June of 1856, lived here all his life. Family home is about a half a mile or so down the road from here. But although he lived here in Doylestown all his life, he did travel. And it was at a trip when he was 14 years old that he went to Europe with his mother to visit an aunt. And it was on this trip that he fell in love with medieval castles. Everything about medieval castles, okay? The stories, history, knights jousting on horseback, okay? He loved everything about it. So when he gets a chance to build his dream home, many years later at the age of 51, he buys 70 acres of farmland. And on this farm are 3 buildings, okay? And on these 3 buildings, very well known, in 1906 he has the full commission of the Pennsylvania State Capitol. That is 16,000 square feet and 400 mosaics. That's why he puts it on the front door. Now, the reason we don't use this door on a regular basis, tiles, I'll talk about this story here since it gives a little bit of insight into Mr. Mercer's background. When we start here, bless you, on the far left is the 1780s here on the right. The ones on the far left are very plates. You'll see a lot of them if you go to the museum down the road. But you can see the artistry of all of them. They're just beautifully done, and that's why he loves those German stove plates. Now, he is a collector of artifacts. He showcases it in museum format behind glass. The glass is not, okay, in their day it's clay, his day is paper and ink. Our day is digital, a PDF, but it's based on paper, right? He loves this. Someone bought tools for the museum down the road. He wanted people not to forget. How did people fish? How did people farm? How did people spin yarn before machine-made tools came about? Most of those pre-industrial tools were made by wood, handcrafted. In his day, they were tossed into fireplaces. How did the everyday person live their life? Mr. Mercer is a champion of the everyday person, and that's why he collected those tools. He thought the everyday person was person. This is our host right here, about 72 years old, proper Victorian with his Santa Claus hat. He's looking grumpy because I'm not sure he would have worn a Santa Claus hat in his day. Not that he didn't celebrate Christmas. Proper Victorian man, about 6 foot tall. About 6 foot tall, yeah. in the portrait behind us here, that's him of the same age. Looks like he's wearing the same old tweed suit. Actually, doing his favorite thing, reading. Any questions in here before we move upstairs? If you put your hand, there are heating vents. This is one of 3 ways to heat this room: Russian stove, heating vents, and the fireplace. On this side of the castle, all the rooms will have heating vents to supplement the fireplaces. Coal burning furnace back in his day, they're original to the castle. Now we use these will get a little cooler, we'll come through here to the left. Some rooms are heated a little better than others, but this room is cool. So just giving you a heads up. To the left we'll go here, walk to the left. There's 2 windows, and this is the space. This is one of Mr. Mercer's most favorite rooms. He takes the space above the kitchen. The farmhouse becomes a kitchen, makes it the breakfast room. You see bright yellow in the tiles, the window spaces, so it's bright. Now, in the summertime, and also in the morning. Now, why is this one of his most favorite rooms? It's because Mr. Mercer loves yeah. He ate them every morning, and he loves scrambled eggs so much, he served it to his friends for dinner. Seriously. Probably pork chops and scrambled eggs, but you were getting scrambled eggs regardless of your meal. So that's, he loves scrambled eggs. There are 2 dumbwaiters in this castle, real dumbwaiters, and that's one of them goes down to the kitchen and bring up the scrambled eggs. If he's not ready, keep them warm on the fireplace. So the last tiles he pretty much designed and set 1929. So this is within a year before he passes. And now we're seeing how his designs are becoming more refined, using brighter colors, shinier glazes, like compared to this design here, right? So this we call a stained glass effect. Here we have a theme of harvest time on a farm on this wall, and over here we have summertime activities on a farm. I imagine all this empty space here, if he had lived long enough, would have been filled. So just to give you context, pretty much all the tiles you see were set before he moved in. Remember, they built this within 4 years, okay? You're gonna see a cutout of a young man, this is his Frank McQueen, his Calvert manager.
Oops, sorry.
As we turn the corner, you're gonna see the collection of Persian and Turkish tiles. Be careful, take your time. Yeah, I'm watching here. So you're just going to follow the steps where Pauline is going. And you're going to go to Mr. Mercer's dorm room. Be careful. Walk a little bit fast. It's very steep. That's why I say you walk straight ahead. So, yes, so she would close off some of the personal spaces so people would inadvertently walk into, let's say, Mr. Mercer's private bedroom. Now, Mr. Mercer never married. He did have, and his family lived in different places except the younger brother did live in town. So in this side of the castle, we don't have heating vents, but we have radiators, and they still work to this day. The wiring, knob and tube. The original wiring is shown behind me in brown. So we replicated it with the white wire here. And you have to keep in mind, there is no electrical grid in Doylestown. When he builds his castle and puts light bulbs in here, the carbon filament light bulb. So he powers all those light bulbs with a gasoline powered generator in the basement as well. So he's paying tribute to those 10 men that did all this hard work to build this castle in 4 years. The final modern amenity for an old medieval castle room, indoor plumbing. Each bathroom has a flushing toilet. The bathroom for this room is up the stairs. So please follow me, and we will walk through our first of 3 bathrooms.
আমরা এখন বাথরুমে যাচ্ছি সেই সময়ে।
Yeah, so the Russian fireplace has a place to clean it wood. And the other things on the side. And then you undulating here to find the wall. And
Sure.
trap the heat from that wood that's burning, and there are piles of heat on the edges. So it's a very efficient way to do it. You walk right through. You see that back of the
Yeah, well,
So here we have the garret. So this is the garret, and this is an attic space where he would store off-season clothes. Original ticket on that black one, but he was a prominent judge in this area, also a U.S. congressman. Before, I should say, Abraham Lincoln's time. But the Mercers themselves, this side of the family came over with William Penn, or late 1600s, settled here in Pennsylvania. They were, that happened like in 1928, a couple years. Law in 1881. Does he want to practice law? No. Yes, you are. It's 1880s, it's Gilded Age, baby, okay? So she pays for him to go traveling all through Europe, Egypt, Turkey, okay?
কি দেখা হচ্ছিল?
ছবি দেখতেছি।
Okay.
So here in the Columbus room, you see tiles from ceiling to floor, right? It's very elaborate. Mr. Mercer never advertised for his tile work business, so he brought people here to showcase what you could do with tiles, okay? So this room would have been used as a showroom, but it could also have been a bedroom because behind this wall is the full bathroom, tub, sink, and toilet. This is the door for the bathroom. So if he needed extra guest space, he could put a bed in here, and that guest would have their own private bathroom. Hence, there are more bathrooms than working bedrooms, okay? Because he always built a bathroom next to an individual room. Now, the tiles you see here again are the theme of Columbus. We have a mosaic on the floor. We have the coat of arms of most of the countries of the Americas during Columbus's time. Not all, but most. And if they didn't have a coat of arms, Mr. Left. Over in this corner, Incas from Peru. On the fireplace are Mayans and Aztecs. So he's, again, that theme, vaulted ceilings, right? So this model there sort of explains it, but I'll give an example just using my hands. In medieval times, he read, you would need your walls and your columns. This is all reinforced concrete, okay? Iron concrete over the top. It catches that part sticking out. When it dries, the concrete, that becomes the floor for the room above. When everything is said and done, you remove the wood scaffolding, all the floor and sand fall to the floor, and voila, you have your tiles in the ceiling. 110 years later, pretty much none of these tiles have fallen down. Where there are times where you'll see tiles come down off of the wall, like here on the side. So that day we saw Jacob Frank in the other room, he's the one who did all of this. Prepare food to eat out on the spring terrace, which will go out momentarily, just briefly. It is chilly out today. But at the end of his life, Mr. Mercer moves into this room because he has a lot of ailments, everything from malaria that he contracted down in the Yucatan as an architect. To keep it warm with the tiles, and they would use that to blow the air. Yeah, keep them, yeah, yes. Yeah, good question. And sometimes people are, watch yourself, they're scared of the height. On the, at the far side, you'll see a spring house on the far side. That's where he gets the water. There's a natural spring on this property. And the well for this house is there. There are beautiful tiles on the ceiling, but from that well, he pumps the water up the tower to 2 big cisterns in the roof to hold the water. So all you have to do is turn on the faucet, and the water comes to your sink, gravity fed. This is also how he names the castle. In Europe, a natural spring would be called fountain or pond. It's probably on the hill, Fonthill Castle. All right, we are going back inside if you're ready. It is chilly out here, and we'll let our eyes acclimate in this alcove. Aunt Elizabeth, his benefactor, and it's pastel by Mr. Mercer. It's about 1870 of his.
কেমন লাগতেছে তোমার?
ভালো, ভিডিও করা নিষেধ, তারপরে আপনাদের জন্য ভিডিও করতেছি।
হ্যাঁ, চুরি চুরি করে, রাইট?
Those are the oldest pieces, and they come from an emperor's temple because the dragons have 5 claws on each foot. A 5-clawed dragon means it comes from an emperor's temple. 4-claw dragon means it comes from a government building. A 3-claw dragon would mean it from an everyday household. Just watch your step. Come back down this way.
এখানে কোনো ভিডিও করা যাবে না, আমরা লুকে ভিডিও করছি। ও যদিও বা লুকে ভিডিও করতে পারে না, সেই জন্য আমি আমার হাতে নিয়েছি যেন আমি কিছু হইলেও আপনাদের জন্য ক্যাচ আপ করে নিতে পারি।
This must be his bedroom.
His most favorite things he collected, okay? And as you look around, I'm gonna point out 2 things. First, there are 4 desks in this room. The Edison light bulb is not gonna give a lot of light. It's about maybe 15 watts or so at the most. So he works by the light of day, facing east in the morning, early afternoon at the typewriter desk, late afternoon facing west, and in the evening at this draft table underneath a 500-year-old oil lantern from a mosque in Cairo, Egypt. And you can see the beautiful lattice work there, and we know he used it because you can see the soot on the ceiling here. Now he also collects ancient pottery, and here from the left, 5,000-year-old pottery from Egypt. 2 is right into the corner, 2 to 3,000-year-old pottery from the cliff dwellers of Arizona in the United States. Taking the corner, Etruscan pottery, about 500 BC. And the oldest pieces here, these broken pieces are the oldest pieces. They're about 10,000-year-old pottery from the Lake Mountain area of Switzerland. Any questions in this room before we move along to our next room? Yeah, there's a group, yeah, this is my first year here with the holiday trees, but I know they have design trees, and sometimes they change the theme of the trees, so they have definitely a group, an agency that helps with that, yes. They did, yep. And I'm gonna have someone lead the way here, down this hallway, map room on the right, you'll pass another bathroom, and we're gonna go through that green door there, and down a few steps to the next room. We use this map room as a reading space. Here, more books. Tiles around the windows are tiles you can find at the towel factory. Yes. It is original. We do have like
Wow, it's nice Christmas tree. It's pink color. I saw first. Nice and pink color. You can stand over there.
We made a full circle here, and this is a suite of rooms. This is called the West Room, and and the next room is they're connected. But if you came as a married couple, you would be from the Charles Dickens series, and a woman commissioned this for her home in her fireplace. Mr. Mercer. All right, we'll walk into now the ladies' room. Okay.
Yeah, you can go.
Taylor Swift theme, yeah, this one's Taylor Swift. It's Henry Mercer didn't know Taylor Swift, but I guess in today's day and age, we're trying to keep it current. Now here in this room, we see vaulted ceilings, bright yellow tiles, hence this is called the yellow room. We also see tile is not the nicest story for a ladies' room, to be honest. Has anyone heard of Bluebeard's fairy tale? Okay, it's a French fairy tale. In this fairy tale, it's a little gruesome. Bluebeard kills all his wives.
Oh.
Except the last one. The last one escapes, so there is a happy ending, okay? The last one escapes, or before she marries him, the last one escapes with the help of a brother. But it's a little bit of a gruesome story, right? To be in a ladies' room. Mr. Mercer makes up for it. You've seen probably words on the stair risers throughout. Here, most of the time it's in Latin, but here he has in English the words on the risers, best for the West, It goes to the bathroom here. Best for the west, meaning the person in this room is the best for the person in the west room, which would have been the husband. Okay? So he
এই টাইলসগুলো তুর্কি থেকে আনা
হ্যাঁ এটা স্কুল তুর্কি থেকে
এগুলো সব তুর্কি টাইলস
তাই না
Like Kristen. All right, we'll go down these last set of stairs. All right,
পুরো আবার দিয়ে আছে
the last step is steep, so just be careful with that. They'll sneak up on you. Last step is steep. Careful with the last step, very steep. Sneak up on you. Yep. Last step is steep.
This is the last room.
This is the last room of our tour. This is called the conservatory. You see it gets a lot of light, even though it's a little cloudy right now, it's still very bright in here. All these pedestals would have had tropical plants, hibiscus and things like that. We have ferns, they're real. They like this room a lot. As a guest, when you came through the door with the 300-year-old lock, you'd be shown into this room to wait to be announced to Mr. Mercer. Very proper. As you're waiting, you get to admire his collection of Spanish tiles between the 16 and 1700s that are all along the walls here. Any final questions?
16.
Yeah, just tells us where they're from.
সো গাইস আজকের ভিডিও এই পর্যন্তই সবাই ভালো থাকবেন সুস্থ থাকবেন আমার জন্য দোয়া করবেন এবং ভিডিওটি ভালো লাগলে অবশ্যই শেয়ার দিবেন আল্লাহ হাফেজ